There is no such thing as old age. This is as far as the general public science brings us. The biggest killer is ordinary food, bought in ordinary stores by ordinary people. Even small children are allowed access to this deadly weapon. You might add things like stress. It's not on the list though. Obviously, it is hidden under many of the listed symptoms. Looking at the items on the list, it becomes clear that the vast majority of people do not die from old age either. They do not die with a happy smile on their face, having finished their goals here on earth. As a matter of fact, there is no such thing on the list as old age. Done here, gone home, it does not even exist. Although I know from personal experience people who did exactly that. I will tell you about Lars. He was born around 1900, I suppose. He lived on a few acres on a shady hillside in a meager high altitude inland of Norway. In the summertime, he worked for the farmers who had good, sunny fields and thriving meadows along the river down the valley. During the harsh and snowy winters, he worked in the deep forests, cutting timber for the same farmers. At home on the hillside, his wife, Gunda, lived with their 7 children and a few cows. Fruit, herbs, and vegetables were grown and dried or conserved for the long winter. In July, she brought some of the farmers' cows together with her own, and they all enjoyed the mountain pastures until the chilly nights again painted the grass white early in August. During the winter, she had her hands full trying to make all children and animals survive with that which they had managed to put in store in the short, intense summer. Now, when I got acquainted with Lars and Gunda, all their children had luckily survived. They were grown-ups and had settled in the neighborhood, and the old couple lived in peace in their little farmhouse. To these people, time was somehow experienced differently than to us, the city inhabitants. You could judge alone from the way he moved the grass with his scythe. Of course, he did not harvest all of his grassland with the scythe. No, but the machines only really did a good job on the big surfaces. Along the road, in proximity of trees and big stones, there was no way they could make Lars content. Diligently, he went all the way along the field and moved everything until the last straw of grass was harvested. Lars was used to pay attention even to the last straw, because this one straw could make the difference between starvation and a reasonable survival. But the way he did it, it was as if he was not concerned at all. He simply rested in doing what he did. The scythe swung forth and back, yes, but no movement was like the other. Each step was attentive and present, as if this was the only thing he was going to do for the rest of his life. As if he loved the grass, the trees, the stones, the scythe, and everything. When the peasant saw you coming, he would let the scythe come to rest and turn to you, greet you. Now, grass, trees, and stones, everything was gone from his mind. Now there was nothing but you. How are you doing? He opened himself up to you, opened a space for you in his soul. A space without limits, a space without time. There was nothing but now. Nothing but here, him and me. He would ask and listen carefully to the stories about my mother's health, about the forests in Denmark with big, strange, deciduous trees. After a while, he would turn his head to the sky, consider the stand of the sun, and express his concern for the animals. He had to pay them some attention, but please come along. Gunder would be glad to see you. One year I visited them. Lars was in bed in the living room, which surprised me quite a bit. I was welcome though, no problem, and please come in and have a seat. The old man, now some 8 years old, was tired, half sitting, half lying on his pillows. But he was in good mood and enjoyed telling stories from back then. The only thing was, he had done what should be done. It had been a good journey, a hard but merry time with wife and children. There was nothing more to say to it. So now Lars lay there, waiting for death to come. His wife Gunda nursed him diligently until one day he did not wake up. Lars had lived a content and happy life, thankful for every day with his simple belongings. Now it had come to an end. From what did he die then? What did the doctor say? Heart failure? Weak liver function? He would have to come up with something, as you already understand. You don't just die for no reason.